Hello, on this episode of Whiz Popping Writers, a subordinate clause is also known as a dependent clause. So what is a clause and what is a phrase? Cold-blooded animals. This is a phrase. It doesn't have a verb. Let's think about a clause that we might use in our non-chronological report about reptiles. Because they are cold-blooded. This is a clause because it has a verb. In fact, it's one of those tricky verbs because our verb in because they are cold-blooded is are. And it's a subordinate clause because it's going to rely on information from a main clause. It's dependent on the main clause. Because they are cold-blooded. What? Why? So we add a main clause to make the sentence make sense. How about reptiles rely on the sun because they are cold-blooded. I also know that because they are cold-blooded is a subordinate clause because it begins with a subordinate conjunction. Because. A great way to remember subordinate conjunctions is a white bus. Let's look at a clause using a different subordinate conjunction. So they can hatch out of their eggs. Let's complete the sentence. Some young reptiles grow a special bump on their nose so they can hatch out of their eggs. To make our writing more interesting, we can pick up the subordinate clause and put it at the beginning of our sentence. So they can hatch out of their eggs, some young reptiles grow a special bump on their nose. Did you notice that when we rearranged our sentence, we had to use another piece of punctuation? That's right, a comma. Using commas with subordinate clauses is really very easy. If my subordinate clause is at the end of the sentence, so the conjunction is in the middle somewhere, then I don't use a comma. But if I start my sentence with a subordinate conjunction, then I use a comma at the end of the subordinate clause. How do I know which part of the sentence is the subordinate clause? Rattlesnakes are venomous, although not all snakes are. Remember, it's the part that doesn't make sense all on its own, although not all snakes are. Although not all snakes are what? Now we know which part of that sentence is the subordinate clause, we can reorder it and put the conjunction at the beginning. Although not all snakes are, rattlesnakes are venomous. Using subordinate clauses makes our writing much more interesting and sophisticated. Try using them in your next piece of writing.